Today's episode is for the moms, dads, caregivers, and any family member who is raising or loving an autistic child in America right now. I want to speak to you plainly, openly, because a lot of people are still getting it wrong. And it's not because they're bad people, it's because they're hearing bad information. So we're going to break some myths. We're going to talk about the reality. And I hope by the end of this episode, you'll feel less alone and more powerful in your advocacy. Welcome to the Be Mighty Mom podcast. I'm your host, Ash, mom to an autistic child with a rare disease, boundary setter, and your voice of fierce, honest truth. This isn't just support, it's a movement where we ditch the fluff, get honest about autism and rare disease, and what it really takes to advocate for our kids, especially with family. So often when someone finds out I'm raising an autistic child, I get the look. You know the one. The tilted head, the sad eyes. Sometimes it comes with, "Oh, I'm so sorry," or "That must be so hard." Let me tell you something right now. My child is not the hard part. The systems are. The misinformation is. The way we're forced to fight every single day for every little thing, just to be heard, to be believed, and to be respected. Raising an autistic child in America isn't about fixing them. It's about fighting for their right to exist without needing to change who they are. At least it should be. According to the CDC, as of 2024, 1 in 36 children in the United States are autistic. It's not rare, it's not unusual, but we're stuck in outdated models of thinking that tell us autism is a tragedy to prevent instead of a neurotype to support. And let's talk about some of the biggest lies people still believe and the truth that debunks them. Myth number 1, jumping right into it. The big myth, autism is caused by vaccines. This is false. It's been disproven repeatedly by high-quality research. One of the most cited studies is a Danish population study of over 650,000 children published in 2019. It found no link between the MMR vaccine and autism. In fact, the original study that made this claim was retracted. The author lost his medical license due to ethical violations, and yet the damage still lingers. Myth number 2, autistic kids don't feel empathy. Totally untrue. Research from the University of London and Stanford has shown that autistic individuals often feel too much. They experience deep emotional empathy, but may express it differently. Eye contact or facial expressions don't tell the whole story. We have to stop equating non-traditional communication with non-existence of emotion. My son is autistic, and he is incredibly empathetic. If I'm having a hard time or crying in front of him, he will come to me, wipe my tears away, and give me a hug. Autism does not cause people to be unempathetic. Myth number 3, autism looks the same in every child. Nope. Autism is a spectrum, but not a straight line from less autistic to more autistic. It's more like a color wheel. Some kids are sensory seeking, others are sensory avoidant. Some are verbal, others are non-speaking. Some love deep pressure hugs, others can't stand to be touched. One size fits all support plans? They don't work. We need individualized care, not cookie cutter therapies. Myth number 4, ABA is the gold standard of autism care. I'm going to say something controversial to some, but necessary. ABA, or Applied Behavior Analysis, is not the only or even the best approach for many families. Autistic adults, the ones who actually received ABA, have been speaking out for years. Many call it traumatic, compliance-based, and rooted in making kids appear more neurotypical instead of supporting their authenticity. I will say that ABA does work for a lot of families and for a lot of children, but it's not necessary for everyone. There has also been a lot of people who come forward and say that ABA has changed over the years. But if you are on the fence about ABA or you're unsure, there are neuroaffirming alternatives, like relationship-based models, occupational therapy focused on regulation instead of correction, and communication support systems like AAC. We must listen to autistic voices. If the people on the receiving end of an approach say it harmed them, we need to stop defending it and change it. This episode is brought to you by Fidget Tee, the original sensory-friendly shirt with built-in fidgets that actually look cool. Perfect for kids who need to stim discreetly or just want something fun and functional to wear. My son absolutely loves his, and yours might too. Get 20% off your purchase with the code MAXIMUS at fidgettee.com. That's capital MAXIMUS for 20% off. Because sensory support should always be easy. Let me walk you through a typical week raising an autistic child in this country. You're making decisions about therapy based on what insurance will cover or approve, not what's actually best for your child or even prescribed by a doctor. You're explaining again and again why your child doesn't need to make eye contact to be polite. You're told you're overreacting by a doctor who hasn't read the chart. You watch your child stim, flap, hum, spin, and wonder if a stranger is about to comment, which they typically do. You dodge discipline advice from people who've never met your child. And then there are the IEPs, the denials, the wait list, the evaluations, and the constant need to prove your child is, quote, disabled enough to deserve support or accommodations. This country doesn't just make you advocate, it makes you prove and reprove year after year. And often in front of your own child, who is hearing you speak negatively about them because the child has to be present. What kind of message is that sending them? And in the midst of all of this, you're trying to protect your child's joy, their curiosity, their wholeness. You're trying to show them with every fiber of your being that who they are is not a problem to be solved. It's a soul to be celebrated. And that's the real work. And it's exhausting and beautiful and unrecognized by most of society. So what do we do with all this? We speak up. We share our stories. We correct misinformation, even when it's awkward, even when it destroys relationships, especially when it's family. We don't wait until we're perfect to start advocating. We learn as we go. Here's how allies can actually help. Learn from autistic adults. Follow them. Read their books. Pay them for their labor. Stop praising kids for passing as neurotypical. Be a safe adult for kids who are different, even if you don't understand them. If you see a meltdown in public, don't judge. Offer space, compassion, or even silence. Push back on schools or churches that force compliance over connection. Don't just say inclusion matters. Build environments that are inclusive. We can't dismantle ableism if we're still clinging to the idea that acceptance only comes when people behave like everyone else. If you're raising an autistic child in America right now, I see you. You're not doing it wrong. You're not failing because your child doesn't fit into neurotypical boxes. You're pioneering. You're breaking cycles. You're choosing love over fear every day. That's mighty work, and you're not alone in it. I'm going to do something pretty vulnerable, and it's actually read a piece of poetry that I wrote. I recently shared it on social media, but I just really feel like it needs a place to be heard. It's called The Wrong Mother. They picked the wrong mother to silence, the wrong heart to break, the wrong hands to bind in patience, the wrong fire to take. Did they think I'd bow my head, take their scraps and call it grace? Smile and nod while doors keep closing while my son is told his place? No. I was built for battle cries, for tearing through their paper lies, for standing tall when others shake, for bending rules until they break. I advocate through fury's flame, through every no, through their shame, through pity masked as hollow aid, through systems built to barricade. They picked the wrong mother to quiet, the wrong fight to flee, because I will not stop, not ever, until the world makes space for him to simply be. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with a friend, a teacher, or a family member who needs to understand this better. You can also leave a review on Apple or Spotify. It helps other families find their way here. And if you want more support, please head to BeMightyMom.com/resources and grab a free neuroaffirming guide for families and friends, no strings attached. Until next time, stay rooted, stay rising, and be mighty. Bye.